Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Champs Drink Champs. I am here solo, and today we are talking all about my Vienna trip. Also, when I said today we are talking all about, I felt like a weird teacher vibe. So that was really interesting. But we are breaking down Vienna. Um, I have been back for a week now. Yeah, it's been interesting. So hold on. Those of you that are watching me, when it's silent, I'm taking a drink of my delicious rosé. Those that are listening, if I go silent, I'm very sorry, but I'm taking a sip of my wine. I'm going to try really hard to not talk too fast because I'm alone. And I'm also going to try really hard to keep on task with the notes that I made so that you don't get confused, but there's just so much that I have to say, and it's going to be really hard to break it down for you without getting like sidetracked or like going off on a tangent. So we will see. I opted to record this one solo because I wanted to make sure that I broke everything down without getting distracted. And I feel like sometimes it can be really easy for me and Taylor to like get off task with each other because like she also hasn't heard any of this. I haven't seen her since like March 20th, I want to say. So we're going on a hot minute of not seeing each other. So I feel like she would be like asking me a lot of questions and then I would get off topic and then I'd forget what I was going to say. So all right. So back to what I was saying. Okay. So I went to Vienna for work. Like everyone is aware of that now. If you follow me on social media, if you listen to the podcast, you know, because I've been talking about it for fucking ever. So, I went to Vienna for work and I was gone a total of 9.5 days, I want to say. So I left on a Friday and I got back on a Sunday afternoon. So the flight was pretty rough, only because it's long. So that was the longest flight I'd ever taken. And I had been pretty stressed about it. I think I prepared as much as I could have prepared, but I don't think you're ever going to be prepared for something like that until you do it. And it always depends on like how, I guess I'd say like your flying preferences or how you are as a flyer. So I don't like going to the bathroom on airplanes. It terrifies me, freaks me out. So that was something that was really difficult for me to figure out is like, when would I go to the bathroom? Because then you have to like make someone get up and like you're not with like your normal people where it's like, if it was Wally, I'd be like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, get the fuck up. But since it's like a coworker on the way there, it was really awkward. And there was a point where, okay, again, already off topic. So the flight was like 17 hours total with like layovers and things like that. So I left from Salt Lake to Amsterdam, and the flight to Amsterdam is about 10 hours. And first of all, if you can splurge and get the premium economy or like whatever that level is below first class, 1000% do it. It is so worth it. You have way more leg room. You get bomb ass fucking service. I'm going to try really hard not to swear a lot, but also if you guys just don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. This is who I am. So you get bomb ass service. When you like, as soon as they can start serving you, you get offered sparkling wine or sparkling water. Of course, I went for the sparkling wine. My coworker doesn't drink wine, but he was like, do you want me to get one? And I was like, yes, please. So he got one and gave it to me. So I chugged that. That was amazing. And then almost immediately after, it's like time for your meal. And so then they're like, okay, what do you want to drink now? Do you want wine? Do you want like soda, like whatever, beer, whatever it is that you drink? And so then I was like, well, yeah, I want Chardonnay. So, and again, all of this is free. I had no idea. I was not expecting this. Already, let me back up. Right when you get on the plane for premium economy, there's like all of this like cool swag. You get a blanket, you get a pillow, you get this little like goodie bag that people put together. Like they sew these bags in Mexico and put them together with like good products in it. I had Grown Alchemist, which is like a bomb product and brand. And I had a lotion and a lip gloss, a toothbrush, toothpaste, I don't know, some other stuff. So you get all of this cool stuff. You get headphones. It was crazy. So fast forward, it's time to eat. I opted to sign up for the vegetarian meal. I highly, highly recommend anyone do this if they're going to be getting airplane food, unless they're going to just buy something that you can buy. But I got the vegetarian meals and they were far better in quality and also like not sketchy compared to my coworker. Like he got some weird like chicken thing and he was like, my stomach was hurting immediately after. So the chicken's weird. You'll get like a side, like some kind of entree, some kind of dessert. It's like a whole thing. So they'll bring you your food, you'll eat it. They're like so proper about it. You get like this whole little like tray cover. It's amazing. You also get offered another drink for free. So obviously I had another wine. And at that point, I think I actually might have had three now that I think about it. I can't fully remember, but my coworker was like, should I have another beer? And I was like, why not? Are you going to sleep? And he's like, no. And I was like, all right, then do it. So then I think I also did it. And at that point, I for sure had to pee. So once I was done with all of those wines and eating, people started to like kind of wind down. It's getting kind of late. I think it was probably like 8:30 Utah time. But you're about to go on a long flight. So people start winding down and getting ready to sleep. And I go to the bathroom and I come back and my coworker's super social. And he's next thing I know, just like making best friends with these like guys from the Netherlands that had been at a conference. I don't know, a whole thing. They were like chatting it up, best friends. And I was just like, okay, now I'm going to go to sleep. So I tried to go to sleep, but they were being very loud and obnoxious. I couldn't sleep. I think I was probably a little bit too tipsy for sure. So I offered them all some of my like snail mucin eye masks that I got. And somehow that just made them all go to sleep. So they like put them on and decided to go to sleep. So I actually didn't end up sleeping. I didn't sleep the entire flight. I woke up, well, I don't know. It's like that weird in between feeling where you're like, maybe I was asleep, maybe I wasn't. Maybe like for an hour I did that. And then I woke up and I had to pee again. But my coworker who was in the aisle seat was asleep. So I sat there in excruciating pain for hours. And I mean hours waiting till I had a chance to go to the bathroom. So he eventually startled and like moved around. So I was like, hey man, I gotta go pee again. The bathrooms were tiny. By the time we were almost to Amsterdam, they were disgusting. There was probably 350 people on our plane. So it was the biggest plane I've for sure ever been on. And oh, you also get another meal. So it was like a breakfast meal or something. I don't know. It's just like some in between. So you definitely get fed quite a bit. Everyone told me to bring snacks. I did not bring any snacks, and I was really stressed that I forgot to grab some. And turns out I didn't need them because I guess maybe I'm just not a snacker, but anyways, flying there was crazy. I did not sleep. Premium economy is dope. So sorry for the long story. I've really got to figure this out. So I will try and be better. But I just like, yeah, the flight was just fascinating to me. I think that's why I'm talking so much about it. So I didn't sleep. We get to Amsterdam. We have a 4-hour layover and everyone says, don't go to sleep, get on their time schedule. So everyone was awake at that point and we were like, okay, well, we can't sleep. Like everyone says you can't sleep. You have to adjust to their time schedule as soon as possible. So that's what we tried to do. So we were at the airport. We walked the entire airport in Amsterdam. It was super cool. And it was more fascinating to me because my family's Dutch German. And I've always known that. And my grandma has a lot of like the blue china. I think it's called Delft, blue Delft in her house. And I was like, I've just always known that we're Dutch, but going to the Amsterdam airport, I was like, holy shit, this all makes sense. Like so much of my childhood, I'm realizing she was actually like bringing her culture into our life, or our culture, I guess. And I just like didn't realize it. So we walked around a lot. We didn't start drinking until it was almost time to get on our flight because I think we were just really tired. I have a friend that was able to get me a prescription for this magical pill that I took half of. And once I finally decided to dare take that, it totally gave me so much energy and helped me so much since I hadn't slept. Because I'd been awake for a very long time at that point, crossed like 9 time zones. And it was really helpful. But my coworker didn't take any of it because he has like heart problems. And I was freaking amped. Like I had so much energy. I had 1 glass of wine at that point, and it was like a whole new world, game changer for sure. If you want to know what this is, let me know and I will tell you what that pill is. It will change the game. So we explored. I learned a lot more about my culture. The reason I love cheese is for sure because I'm Dutch. There was cheese everywhere. I was fascinated. You could just buy these blocks and wheels of cheese, and I just wanted to buy them. But I was like, I don't know how much stuff I'm gonna have, and I don't know if I'm gonna have room for souvenirs, and I don't know what I'm gonna buy in Vienna. So I didn't. And let me tell you, that messed with me because I didn't get to get it on the way back. And I'm really upset about it. So I hope I'm invited back to the Vienna office again so I can partake and get some souvenirs and some cheese. But okay, I am getting very off topic. Let me compose myself. So, um, immediately we noticed that life is just different there. Like everything was so green as we're coming in on the airplane in the Netherlands. Like it was so green and so beautiful, and there's water everywhere. Like everywhere. And I was just like, dang, I wish I could explore there. So I hope one day I can go back there. I feel like I will. And then as we get on our plane to head to Vienna, I noticed very quickly that Europeans just travel everywhere. Like the whole airport, once we got to like this different section of the airport, is just full of people that live over there traveling quickly, like because it was a weekend. Yeah, they were just taking like short little trips, and because that's what you do. And so they were everywhere. My airport outfit was phenomenal. I totally blended in. I looked just like I belong there, and it's confirmed I do belong over in Europe, specifically in Vienna. So anyways, we get on the plane and we have like, I'm not sitting next to my coworker at this point, and I'm sitting in a different spot than him, and he's so tired because he didn't have the magical energy pill. And I was like, okay, well, don't fall asleep because now you have no one to talk to. But the snack they served us on this airplane, I thought was just like a weird airplane food. And I quickly learned that this is just like the culture and the vibes there. It was a bread and cheese sandwich. It's literally, it literally came in this package, and it was bread with this delicious cheese, obviously, and like a little bit of like cream cheese spread. So eating a bread and cheese sandwich is so common there. That's like all they eat. It's so freaking weird. So I ate it obviously to try it. It wasn't bad. Wasn't my favorite. Bit strange. Maybe if it didn't come on an airplane, it would be fine. I almost fell asleep. Luckily I didn't. And I was like awake, and it's such a short flight. It was like an hour and a half. So you're not that high up in the air. And I could totally see so much. It was so beautiful. Pulling into Vienna on the airplane was so amazing. It was so green also. There's like the little like energy windmill thingies. I don't know what they're called. I just know they're windmills. I know they go with the wind and make energy, but they're everywhere over there. But there was tons of those, and everything was super green and super beautiful, and you can just start seeing like all these little tiny like villages, I guess I would call them, where, and that's considered the countryside. So people grow up in these little tiny like side villages, and most people live over there, and then they just like come to work, which isn't very far. They can take like a train, a bus, the subway sometimes, depending where they're at. But it was just super cool seeing that like not everyone lives right close to each other. There's like these little villages and little pockets of areas where people grow up and live, and they're big, but not as big as I thought they would be. So that was super interesting. So we land Saturday around like 5 p.m. in Vienna, and we are so tired because we've been awake since Friday. For sure. Yeah, we barely slept. He was fake sleeping on the plane. I didn't know, and I was holding my pee, so that sucked dick for me. So yeah, we land and we're super tired, and we don't really know how to find our driver. It was a bit challenging. Most, like almost everyone speaks English, so that's helpful, but it's also just like when you don't know where you're going and you don't know where the driver is that you reserved, it's not like an Uber, it's just like a whole different vibe. And like signs are like, there's signs telling you where to go, but not really signs to help you figure out what you need. So it took us a minute to find our driver. I was super stressed my luggage wouldn't make it, but it did. We get our driver, and I immediately realized like this is the place for me immediately, because no one fucking talks to you. They don't try and small talk with you. They don't look at you while you're walking. They're not smiling at you. They're not like, hey, how are you? Our driver said 0 words. Like, he literally was like, grab my bag right when we saw them and just carried it and had us follow him. Didn't say anything. Gets in the car, doesn't ask us where we're going. He already knows. I was like, man, this is a vibe. I really appreciated that. So we get to our hotel, we check in. The hotel is beautiful. However, the bedrooms, or the rooms, I guess you'd call them, are tiny. They did have some rooms that are bigger, but rooms are just different there. So the bathroom was like maybe the size of like a bathroom on a cruise ship if you've been on one of those. There was walking space around the bed, 2 nightstands, and this tiny little closet around the corner that could probably hold like 10 shirts maybe, and that's it. And it's just like a hanger or like a bar that would hold shirts, and it's around the corner. So I have big ass suitcases. I don't have a lot of space. So that was hard. I didn't get to like really unpack my suitcases necessarily. So all of my like shirts I tried to get hung up or out so that they didn't get more wrinkled. Pants, everything else had to stay in my suitcase. So I basically took my packing cubes out, had them like sitting on like an end table, and like figured out how I could hide my suitcases because there's just not room. Like if I left my suitcases out, I wouldn't be able to walk. So that was interesting. And so we basically, the first night, went and explored. We tried to find something to eat. It's very difficult on the weekends. You have to have a reservation most of the time, but specifically on the weekend. So if you don't have a reservation and if you don't do it in advance, you're fucked. Like finding somewhere to eat is nearly impossible unless you're just getting fast food or hitting a hot dog stand thing, which it's not a hot dog stand, it's a sausage stand, and that shit's dope. I learned that very quickly. So yeah, we tried to go to a couple places near the hotel. We didn't have reservations. So we walked a little bit. And what did we end up eating? Oh, we couldn't find anywhere to eat. We had to go back to the hotel and go to the hotel had like a lobby bar that was open 24 hours and it had a little bit of food. So we went there. Sorry, taking a sip. Spritzers are for sure a thing, like an Aperol spritz, which I already knew, but I didn't realize how much of a thing. Like they rarely, well, no, not rarely. A lot of people drink wine regularly, but most people will put like sparkling water in their wine to make it like a spritz. And the menu was just full of spritz, like an Aperol spritz with this flavor or this different kind of Aperol spritz. So it was very interesting. We had these cheesy little sandwiches called toasties, which is basically bread and cheese and maybe a meat or maybe a spread of some sort. But so they call sandwiches like that toasties. So we ate toasties at the bar, had a couple drinks, and then we just tried to go find like these dive bars because my coworker's really into dive bars. We walked and found one. It was super weird. Didn't love it. We had a beer and then we were like, all right, we've stayed up long enough. It's 8:30. By the time we walk back, we can officially go to sleep. So we go to sleep, and by go to sleep, I mean we don't. We are unable to sleep the entire trip. So that was difficult. We wake up at Sunday. We only had Sunday, the first Sunday we were there, and the following Saturday as free time. The rest of it was completely packed with like work situations. So yeah, we were like, we're gonna wake up, get breakfast downstairs, which was so amazing. I had the cutest like exploring outfit. I really am impressed with my like research and what I purchased. I'll have to link some stuff for you guys because it was super bomb. And I also hope to start dressing a little bit more fancy / casual because it's like, I don't know, I'll explain that at the end. But we had the best breakfast that was included at our hotel. There was fresh ass croissants every morning and these like dessert croissant things every morning. They also, their breakfast is so different. They have like poached eggs. They have 2 amazing coffee stations that I will forever miss. Like a fruit mixture, like a fruit salad, I guess you'd call it. The croissants, marmalade, which is their version of like jelly or jam, which is amazing and it's not full of sugar. Love that for me. They don't have like plastic trays or anything, like containers that you'd put stuff like condiments in, or like really plates or something that you would do something like that with. They have little wafer crackers that like are in bowls, and you could put your marmalade in there, and if you wanted to, you could eat it after, but also you're not using all this plastic and having to wash all these dishes. It was freaking smart and genius, and they do so many things like that that I'm like, wow, this makes sense. So the only other thing at breakfast would be platters of meat. So kind of like a prosciutto, I would say, salami, and then Gouda cheese and like a cheddar cheese. And so people would eat meat and cheese for breakfast, cold, and fruit and a croissant. And honestly, I'm here for it. It was amazing. I loved it. So we had breakfast and we head out probably like 9:30 or 10. Everything is actually closed on Sundays in Vienna. So on Saturdays, restaurants close down earlier than they would normally. And then obviously like going out places or like bars and stuff like that will stay open. But like if it's like a restaurant, they close decently early on Saturdays. And then on Sunday, a lot of places are actually closed. There's no shopping. Markets are closed on Sunday. So you can walk around and see stuff, but basically your only option is if it's like a bar or like a restaurant bar place. So we wake up and we just immediately, like, we're in the heart of Vienna, and we, like, everywhere you walk is just beautiful. There's buildings everywhere, and they're so old and detailed, and like it makes sense why everyone's happy. I truly, so Vienna is top 5 places in the world for the happiest place on earth. And I kept trying to like talk to my coworker about like, why do you think they're so happy? Like, what is it? And I could name a million things at this point because I was insanely happy and peaceful there. But I do think that the buildings and how grand and beautiful and like detailed, the architecture is just amazing. I think that plays into it. I think they get used to it because we talked to some of our coworkers when we were walking around, and they were like, we'd stop and be like, oh my God, look at this. Look. And then we take a picture and they'd be like, I've walked this path a million times. I've never fucking seen this statue of this eagle on top of this building. Like, I don't notice these things. So I think they do get accustomed to it. But I think even though they're not paying attention to it, it's still beautiful. And I think that that radiates and makes you happier. I 1000% believe that. So we walked around for probably like 3 to 4 hours, probably more like 3. Took so many pictures. We were picture taking fucking fools. Like, no matter where we walked, no matter where we turned, phones were out taking pictures. We were stopped. We were in awe. And the first day we took so many pictures. We saw the cathedral. I don't remember what it's called right now. Saint somethings. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I posted some pictures about it. St. Catherine's. I don't know. There's churches everywhere. It's amazing. It was so beautiful. You could see like actual first versions of like where the church had started. You saw parts that had been burnt. You saw these old ass like pieces of stone that had been chiseled that are like literally the oldest pieces of stone I've probably ever seen. And it was Sunday, so all the church bells were going. It was so cute. We didn't actually go into any of the churches because I think maybe we were scared because it was Sunday, and maybe that's like a Utah thing for me, but I was assuming, and like I'm not Catholic, I wish I were most of the time, but we just thought we'd be interrupting service, so we didn't go in them. And that's a big fucking fail on our part because you can go in them and they're amazing and they're beautiful. And I cannot believe still that I left Vienna and I didn't go in this church because it's beautiful. So we walk around, see a bunch of churches, see a bunch of buildings, saw the opera house, saw these twin museums. Like, everything is beautiful. Every building, everything. It's crazy. Not as much cobblestone as I expected, but there are areas where there was cobblestone. It's like, oh, okay, here's the cobblestone. So you need to be prepared for the cobblestone, but it's not mostly cobblestone. That's a lie on the internet. Easter markets were happening. So we stumbled upon an Easter market. It was like a mini one, and you can immediately see these giant pretzels, like bigger than your freaking face. Pretzels. They had like chocolate fountains everywhere. Vienna people, Viennese, I think is what they're called, love sweets, like anything with chocolate, anything that's sweet, they are down. So chocolate fountains were everywhere, bread, pretzels everywhere, beer, wine everywhere. So we stopped at the Easter market, which was super exciting to me because my grandma, again, back to the whole like brought her culture in that I didn't even realize she was doing. My grandma had this like Easter tree and it was full of like wood Easter eggs. And it was always my favorite decoration. And I was so excited because I wanted to get some wood Easter eggs. And they had the most beautiful hand painted Easter eggs. So I was like, it's my first day. Don't buy anything. You don't know what to expect. So I did not buy any eggs that day, but I did buy, I don't know if you guys have seen them. They're like these garlic mincers on like a plate and they're like serrated almost. There was a lady that made them and they were hand painted. They were so beautiful. And you can do your Parmesan cheese on them. I didn't know that. No one's done that on the internet or Amazon. The one I had in my cart didn't tell me that in the video. Garlic, Parmesan cheese, your baguette for breadcrumbs to go on top of your pasta, lemon, lime, so many things. Anyway, so I bought one and I'm very excited that I bought that. Another thing I learned really quick is that if you go to something where they're serving beer or wine, they'll give you a glass, like an actual glass. They don't have plastic solo cups. They don't have plastic cups. It's straight up a glass and you get your wine out of it and then you bring it back and you get money back. So you get like $1 or $2 or euro or two back. And then eventually you can just pay for another glass of wine with your euros that you get back. But I thought that was really interesting that they don't have plastic everywhere. They're very environmentally friendly and they really care about their carbon footprint, I would say, and also making sure things are very, very clean and plastic and trash ends up on the ground. So I thought that was cool. And I learned very quickly that wine is very cheap and very delicious there. So at that Easter market, we also saw these like, it kind of just looked like a drop off and I didn't know what people were looking at, but it was like these stones and they used to be like old Roman stones that like obviously didn't build on top of it, but you can like look down and just see kind of like an old building that's way below. And it's just like these, I don't know, a Roman structure made out of stone. Again, uncultured, grew up in Blanding. Very sorry. I'm very ignorant. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to learn. So that happened Sunday. Yes. So we're on Sunday. We walk around and then we're like, all right, so we just did like 3 hours of walking and now it's time for a drink. And then at that point, oh, this was another cool thing. Basically, no one is awake early in the morning there. Like there's tourists and stuff, and some locals are awake pretty early. But by the time like noon hit, that's when you were like, oh, people are awake now and they're coming out. So we got up early. We're able to walk around and see a lot of stuff without things getting super busy or being like super touristy while all the locals were out. So that was interesting to me. And now that I've like been there for that long, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. They're up really late because I was up really late. They're up really late and then they don't really wake up until like the afternoon. And then they're like, all right, let's start again. So we around noon, we're like, all right, now it's time. Like, let's go hit some bars. So we hit this first one. It's called Flanagan's. It's an Irish pub and it's right by our office because everyone goes there after work. And so we were like, let's go see what this is about. So we go there, get some lunch. And it's such a vibe that we kind of stayed there for maybe 3 drinks, I would say, after lunch and just like really enjoyed it. There's all the people working there are Irish, so that was super cool. And rugby maybe or soccer, something was on TV that's like a sport that they love. And so that was fun. And then we were like, all right, what's next? So we go to the next place that was kind of by it. It's like a little brunch spot. I got a glass of Prosecco for 3 euros. Like, I'm not joking. Things are so cheap. And euros are not worth as much as US dollars. So in US dollars, that probably would have been like almost $4, maybe $4, maybe a little over $4. So it was insane to me. I had a cappuccino to help like get my energy back up because I've been drinking. had a Prosecco, and then we're like, all right, on to the next. So then there's Australian bars a lot there too. We went to 2 Australian bars. We go to the first one. It was all right. It wasn't my favorite. I think we had a drink or 2 there. I can't fully remember. And then we're like, now let's go to the next Australian pub because that one wasn't open yet. The second one we went to, that's why we stopped at the first one. So we go to the second one, and it's called Ruse Bar, I think. It's owned by a Mexican from Mexico. He was like, I'm sick of Mexico, and he had a friend there, so he went to Vienna and just opened a bar. So he's there, his friend's there, and then another friend of theirs shows up, and we sat and hung out with them for, I don't know, hours. They loved us. Well, mostly my coworker, because like I said, he's the social one. Next thing I know, they're just feeding us free shots. He asked my coworker if he wanted some Mexican water. And I was like, yeah, I want some Mexican water. And he, like, you have to ask for water there, first of all. So I had to keep being like, can we get some tap water? Another fun fact, Vienna has the cleanest water in the world. So does the Netherlands. And you can just drink out of the tap, which is amazing. And it's always cold, always cold. So wild. So basically they start feeding us all of these shots for free, but Mexican water is tequila. So my coworker was like, yeah, I want some Mexican water. Not sure what it is, but I do need to hydrate. And I'm over here like, okay. So we have like 2 or 3 free tequila shots, on top of the drinks we already ordered. And then next thing I know, he's feeding us these other shots, which is like peppermint schnapps with like some Bailey's, I don't know, some kind of liqueur that's like chocolatey. I don't even know. Schnapps and liqueurs are super popular over there because, like I said, they really like sweet stuff. And their schnapps is very different than our schnapps. It's not full of just sugar. Theirs is like, I don't know, everything over there was cleaner. The wine's cleaner, the beer's cleaner, schnapps is cleaner, food's cleaner, everything. Streets, everything. The people, cleaner. So, hold on. We're having this shot, and he's like, I don't know, I just made it up. I got to name the shot for the bar. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna have to look into this, but I named it for the bar. They're gonna put it on their board. Very excited. It tastes like a peppermint patty. So then we had dinner reservations, and I was like, we gotta split, which was good. I have a picture with the group. I'll have to post some pictures for you guys, but we had a really good Sunday fun day. It was really cool. We go to our dinner reservation, which is by our hotel, because we were like, also we need a good dinner, and also we have work tomorrow, so we got to get our shit together. So we go to dinner. It's amazing. I got this. I can't remember what it's called. I can't pronounce the word, but it's this gnocchi that's like Austrian, and it was so good. It has cheese, gnocchi, something else. I think there was like fried onions on top. Phenomenal. So good. So amazing. Loved it. My coworker got goulash. I was super grossed out about it, but goulash is super popular there because I hate goulash. My grandma makes it all the time. Theirs was a little bit different. It was fine. I tasted it, didn't love it, didn't hate it. But we went to this cool place, had dinner by the hotel. I had the best food for sure that night. I would have gone back 6 more times to have it. It was very heavy though, which was good because I had a lot to drink. But we had 2 drinks each and a meal, and it was 60 euros. So I don't know, food and alcohol is just mind-blowingly cheap there. I think the entire day on Sunday, I maybe spent 60 euros myself. It was weird. So that was Sunday. That was for sure our first introduction to Vienna. Loved it. Immediately was already in love. We were both super nervous to go to work. So Monday through Friday, we had meetings all day long, like nonstop meetings with people. So we get to work. We weren't really sure how to get into the building. It was like this whole confusing thing. Buildings are so different there. Business buildings themselves are super different there. We get there at 9 in the morning. Nobody, and I mean nobody. There's like 3 fucking people are there. And they're like, let's give you a tour, the HR people. So we go on a tour, and we have 2 stories, one on the 2nd floor and one on the 4th floor, which is weird that they're mixed up like that, but whatever. No one's there. And I can't remember going on the tour necessarily or where people sat because no one was there to like help me remember the areas and who sat where. But what I found out is people don't go to work, especially on Mondays, early. And most of the time they all work from home on Mondays because they're out fucking late every night. So we get there, no one's there. People start rolling in around like 10, 11. So people normally go to work around 10. Their work hours are generally like 10 to 4. We need to do that in America. It was amazing. I mean, I didn't have that because I had meetings all the fucking time, but it was great. So Monday is full of meetings all day long for both of us. Total whirlwind, meeting a ton of people. Everyone's super amazing, super nice. The office is amazing. It really reminded me how much I miss being in an office around a lot of people because our team in America is very small right now, and so is our Brazil team. So it was really nice, like being back in the hustle and bustle and like feeling that importance again. We learned a ton of stuff that we had been missing, so that was great. Meeting people face to face was great. Learning about them, learning about the company, learning about anything really was super amazing. Every single meeting, every single conversation, it was just truly confirmed I am meant to live in Vienna. I am one of their people. My personality traits are just like theirs. So work was basically that. Like I said, we did not sleep. So we were running on fucking fumes. Monday, we ended up being invited out with a bunch of coworkers, another founder of the company, and other people that are like heads of this stuff. So we go to Flanagan's again. Now our second time back at Flanagan's. And we were there till 1:30 in the morning. So that kind of gives you an insight to how much people love going out and hanging out and drinking. And it's not like drinking in America. It's like, I don't know, you just don't get drunk the way that you do here. I think it's because the alcohol is cleaner, but like, and you're not just like chugging, you're not pounding. It's like social, it's fun, everyone's laughing. I don't know. It's crazy. So we're back at Flanagan's. We're there all night. I stopped drinking at a certain point because I'm like, dude, I'm actually really tired and I have to stop. So we end up being able to get our first Kaiserkrainer is what they're called. It's a sausage full of cheese. It's like literally a foot long sausage. It's so amazing. So good. And they stuff it in a baguette. And inside the baguette, they have like these little things that like punch a hole in your baguette. And that's where your sausage goes in. And they fill it with mustard cheese, whatever you want. And then they slide the sausage inside. Life changing. I had 3 of them and I should have had at least 17. So we stopped there to get one before we went home, you know, because you got to just like get that snack late at night to like really make sure you're okay the next day. So that was Monday. Tuesday night, I actually was able to go home early after work. My coworker had a dinner. He's the VP of marketing. So he had a dinner with like a bunch of people in marketing. And so I was like, sweet, I'm going to get to the hotel. I'm going to relax. I'm going to get some food. And then I'm going to go to sleep because I haven't slept forever. It was very hard to figure out food. It's actually really hard knowing what to eat when you're not familiar with things or fully comfortable. Like I said, everyone speaks English, but like it's just different. You feel uncomfortable unless you're really comfortable. And I was just not prepared to like walk in, get something to go, sit down by myself. I was so tired. So I ended up going downstairs to the bar. Again, back to something we've already had. And I had another toasty. I had a little toasty sandwich. Ended up having 3 glasses of wine because I was really enjoying sitting there by myself, people watching. And the wine is just so fucking good. I actually had time to catch up with a couple of my friends. I was texting them like crazy. It's like the first time I actually had time to myself. There's an 8-hour time difference. So that was really difficult. It was really hard to keep up with everyone. And also just like update them or talk or anything. Once they can talk, like I'm at work. Once they're getting home from work, I'm basically going to sleep. Sleep in quotation marks because you don't fucking sleep. So I ended up drinking 3 glasses of wine, feeling great. I'm thinking I'm gonna crash out. You don't. Another thing about Vienna and the people, sorry, I'm just getting comfortable, is it's totally acceptable to stare at them. So like you'll be sitting down and people will just be looking at you and they're not looking at you because they want to talk to you. They're not looking at you because they're judging you. They're not looking at you because they're being a bitch. It's just totally acceptable to be able to look at someone, stare at them, size them up, have some questions in your brain, whatever, and move on. And I love that because people watching is my favorite. And people would be doing it to me. And at first I'd be like, what the fuck? And then I'd be like, remember, this is acceptable here. So that was interesting. So I sat at the bar, did that. Wednesday, I wanted to sleep Tuesday night because Wednesday was a marathon freaking day. We had meetings the entire day. I had a huge meeting with our head of finance and operations, I had a huge meeting with our CEO, our co-CEO. And then we had an after work situation. So every quarter we do like a team event, like a quarterly team event. And they planned theirs when we were there. There was a couple other people like visiting the headquarters. And it was an international after work is what it was called. And we had that immediately after all of our meetings all day. Oh, back up for lunch that day. I got another Kaiserkrainer. I got that sausage. It's dope. If you go, you have to try it one time with the baguette. The rest of the time, just get it sliced. Get it sliced with your sauce. Eat it. You don't have to worry about the bread. Fucking amazing. Also, the cheese is so dope in it that when you bite it, the cheese like squirts out. It's so great. It's so great. Um, anyway, so I had that for lunch. I was super stressed, barely eat it because I had my meeting with my CEO that afternoon, and it was about to be like a pretty intense meeting where I don't really can't really go into those details, but it was intense. So I was a bit nervous. Oh, another thing, coffee is it's so amazing there. It's so different. It's not coffee, it's more like espresso for the most part. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. It tastes amazing. You can drink it at any hour. I drink so much coffee there. I could do that here if our coffee tastes like that. And by coffee, I mean espresso. But I had 2 espresso shots before I met with my CEO. And I think that really helped take the edge off for me. That's why I thought about that. Anyways, so barely ate my Kaiserkrainer for lunch. Super busy day, super exhausted. I should have taken half of one of those magical energy pills, and I regret myself for not regret myself. I regret it, or I'm kicking myself for not doing that. After all of our meetings, we have this after work, and it's from like 5 to whenever people decide to go home. And I wasn't sure what to expect, but I know that like drinking is acceptable. And here in Utah and a lot of places in America, it's just not. Like people have issues, alcohol gets involved, so many HR problems, and it's just not like that over there. It's so weird. I don't know how to explain it. So I show up to it, and there's just fridge is full of beer, like beer, wine, have what you want. It was an international one, so they featured Hungary, America, and I cannot remember the other one. That's super terrible of me. But so there was hot dogs. I didn't eat one because I was like, I have hot dogs all the time. And then I tried some Hungarian pot roast, which is freaking amazing. They do it definitely different. It was super good. They have it with different types of rice or something. It's like rice, but not rice. It was good, but I didn't eat a lot because after this after work, we had a dinner with like our CEO, our head of this, our head of that, like really, really important people. We had a dinner that we had to go to. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go change. I'm going to come back and then it's going to be time to go. So I change. I come back because I can't handle wearing the same thing all day, but also I was like wearing like really professional clothes because that's who I am at the office. And I didn't want to be in that all night and I didn't want high heels. So when I say this night was crazy, it was crazy. I was not expecting this. I wish I would have ate more at the after work because the food at this restaurant was so intimidating. I did try nearly everything. There's a couple things I didn't try because it was like spaced out on the table and it didn't make its way to me. But basically, our CEO is he orders everything on the menu almost, and he'll always order for everyone. But he's also super well known there. So we show up to this restaurant. There's probably like 12 of us at a table. It's this huge table. It's super loud, super crazy. I tried beef tartare. It was amazing. I loved it. If you don't know what it is, it's basically minced meat, not cooked, with an egg on top, with fried onions or raw onion, and you put it on toast and eat it. And it was freaking delicious. And I'm so surprised that I'm saying that because I have such an aversion to meat. I tried that. I tried goose liver meatballs. Um, they had like this, it would almost be like butter that you'd put on bread as like an appetizer, but it was ground up green olives and they put that. I hated that and I love green olives. So I tried a lot of things. I tried like this fish that wasn't cooked. I had some meat, but it was all just like samplings because there's so many people and it's like try this, do this. They brought out magnums of wine, magnum bottles of wine, the best wine. Um, so it was just really crazy. Super whirlwind dinner. I didn't eat a lot. Really wish I would have because then I could have like kept up and drank a little bit more, but I was kind of just sipping on my drinks, trying to talk, answer all these questions for people, get to know people. Our CEO made us all give speeches, and that was really stressful for me. I don't like the attention like that. Um, Not everyone got to go, but they made my coworker go first. So super stressful for him. I can't remember what he said. And they're like, all right, the next time. So basically every time you got a new glass or they came and refilled our drinks, that's when you had to give a speech. And also in Vienna, you have to cheers before you start drinking. You have to cheer if you start drinking out of a new like refilled drink before you cheers. Super rude, super disrespectful. So you wait until everyone gets their drink and then everyone cheers and you have to look people in the eye. Like it doesn't have to be super intense, but it needs to be like cheers and then move on to the other people. If you don't look them in the eye, that's also disrespectful. And I'm freaking terrible at remembering to do that all the time. I'd be about to drink. I'd be like, oh shit. And then I'd have to like do the cheers thing. Anyways, um, I had to give my speech. I was super stressed. I totally hate being in the spotlight like that when I have to. I can do it for certain things, but when it's something like this, it makes me very uncomfortable. And I basically said, because I kept hinting at my coworker and everyone obviously at this point, like, yep, whenever you're ready, let me know when I'm moving to Vienna. Like I belong here. These are my people. I'm totally just like you guys. And I was just basically like, cheers, thanks for having us, and here's to me moving to Vienna as soon as you say so. And that was it. That's all I said. But my CEO gave like this super great speech, which was great because he's about to cry. He basically looked me in the eyes like almost the whole time, telling me how amazing it is to have us on the team, that he's super appreciative to have more people in the family. And that was really comforting because, like I said, I had a really intense meeting and I kept thinking, after I say the things that I'm about to say, my ass could be fired. Like, I don't know these guys. I don't know this company. I don't know how it works. So I was very stressed and it was very nice to like have that reassurance. So dinner ends. It's like, fuck, probably 10:30 of the marathon day. And it's time for drinks. So we head out, we go on foot, and next thing I know, we're at this bar and for drinks, and we walk in, and like I said, my boss is super well known, and he has this whole like, he's like, oh, we're up here, and it's like this giant sign that says reserved, and I'm like, well, we're fucking fancy. His friend apparently owns this bar, so that partially makes some sense too. We walk upstairs. It's so cool, so cute, super dark. We have this cute little cozy table. And next thing I know, platters, and I mean platters of shots are being brought out. Like each platter probably had 20 plus shots on it. And basically, everyone had warned me, like, this is initiation. You better be fucking prepared. And I didn't know what that meant. And now I do. And what I found out as I was walking to the bar, my CEO loves champagne. We bonded over that. And I know for a fact if I lived there, we would hang out all the time and I'd meet really good people that I need to be in my network. And I would probably be eventually a high roller. So I need to figure out how to get to Vienna to hang out with him. But he loves champagne. So he had champagne on ice ready for us. He was like, you love champagne? I got you. And I mean like actual champagne. The shit we're drinking here, Prosecco, that's sparkling wine. It was legit. It was legit champagne. And he was like, I got it. It's going to be on ice. So I had champagne. That was amazing. These shots were interesting. There was like a lemon basil one, and it's very fresh and delicious. It's not like sugary like it would be here. And then also like some other like strawberry one. I don't know. There was a couple. I didn't really have a lot of the shots because like, again, hadn't eaten a lot. I know who I am, how to handle these situations. I mostly just had some champagne. but I did have some shots because that's initiation and you got a dill. So he's basically so known for this, and that's what initiation meant. Initiation also meant that in your future you'll be in meetings, conversations, or scenarios where there's gonna be alcohol and you need to hold your own. And this is our test to see how you can hold your own, what you say, how you act, who you interact with, all of those things. I didn't know that part until after the fact. So thank God that I'm not a slob kebab, because I was very profesh, but also fun. So we leave. I don't even know what time it was. Maybe 1, maybe 2. He leaves. He's like, I gotta go. He's gotta leave early in the morning. He's going to fucking Tokyo or something, because he's always going somewhere. And at that point, everyone just stands up and like leaves. And we're all like, wait, we can still hang out. There's still alcohol here. Like, the CEO's gone. Let's have fun. And everyone's like, basically, they're like, we're here because we're supposed to be here. And they just get up and they leave. And the best thing too is also their culture is like, you don't have to say shit. You can just get up and leave whenever the fuck you want. And you don't have to be like, all right, guys, well, I think I'm gonna head out, blah, 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 blah. This weird, like, fake ass polite thing that we do where we're super uncomfortable and we're really just trying to get out of somewhere. They don't do that. It's like everyone gets up, grabs their shit, and they're gone. We walk out to the bottom of this freaking bar and everyone's like darted off, and we're standing there like, cool. No one says goodbye. Loved it, but wasn't expecting it. So that was Wednesday. That was the marathon day. It was amazing. I could not have anticipated that at all. Didn't sleep that entire night. I get home unable to sleep. You'd think that alcohol would make me sleep. I did not. So Thursday morning rolls around and I have had 0 hours of sleep. Thursday was rough. Again, should have taken one of those pills, but I didn't. I have a weird thing with pills. Maybe I worry that, like, I don't know how it will affect me. With alcohol, I know how it will affect me. Pills, you just never know, especially if you haven't eaten or slept. So I didn't, and I should have. I didn't feel great that day, I think because of the lack of sleep, not because of alcohol. I never actually got a hangover. I never got dehydrated from drinking. I never got sick from drinking. I'm telling you, something is different there. It's just so different. So let's see. Let me check my notes because I haven't even done that. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. I talked about that. Dun, da, da, da. Wow, I'm doing great. This is why I make notes, because I don't actually always need to read them, but when I write them, it helps. So Thursday night, we go to the wine festival because the wine festival from Syria is there. Styria, not Syria. And it was raining, so that kind of sucked, but I took my time. I like relaxed a little. I'd been a bit overwhelmed by Thursday. Everyone wanted me to walk over with them and my meetings were running late, and I was just like, I need a minute. I have to change anyways. I'll meet you guys there. So I went to my room once my meetings were over, changed, took a little bit of time, and I walked there by myself in the rain. Had an umbrella, didn't take it, dumbass, but it didn't fit in my purse. So I walked there by myself. It was beautiful, amazing. You feel so safe there. And it was just really calming, but I had to take a minute for myself because I just don't do people to the level I'd had to be doing people, and I needed a minute. So the wine festival is super cool. Like I said, they don't do plastic cups. So all of your wine glasses or beer glasses come in like a nice glass. You get money back for turning it in, and the wine glasses are straight up crystal. Like, you could make like when you put your finger around it, you can make that noise. Like, they're straight up nice ass crystal glasses. So that was really surprising to me. It was raining, so I didn't explore the wine festival as much as I would have wanted to, but we still had fun. A bunch of people from work went with us. Not a bunch, but like probably like 10. I talked to a guy from Hungary for a very long time. He was so cute. His name's Martone, and he's just like this little like 21-year-old, I think, 22. And yeah, he's just living in Hungary. He works in Hungary, but like we have an office there, and he just came to like see everyone, and just learning about different areas was super cool. I got a pretzel finally that night, and it was so massive. They don't actually serve their pretzels with nacho cheese. And that's one thing I'll say that they're doing wrong. They need to give you cheese or some kind of sauce, not even mustard. So that was a disappointment. let's see. That was the wine festival. By Thursday and Friday, people kind of trail off at work. So like Tuesday, Wednesday for sure the busiest days at the office. Wednesday was so busy. And I also because we had the after work thing, but Monday not a lot of people came in. Like I said, they work from home. By like Wednesday, people started canceling our meetings. They were like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not going to make it." And so like Thursday kind of started freeing up, Friday started freeing up, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? But basically, yeah, that's like kind of like work-life balance is a huge thing there. And they're hybrid, so they didn't have to come in. And they also don't feel this weird pressure that they have to do things the way that Americans feel like we have to show up and have to do things. It's like, I don't want to do this, I'm not going to do it. And it's acceptable and it's okay and it's not offensive. So that was starting to be interesting on Thursday. More people were supposed to come to the wine festival and they didn't because they didn't come to work that day. Most people canceled everything Friday. We had a couple of meetings. I had one by the end of Friday. My Friday started out slow anyways because no one would schedule meetings, but by the time I got to Friday, I only ended up having one meeting. So that sucked. But we stayed in the office working all day because we're Americans and that's what you're supposed to do. So we worked all day, said our goodbyes. We were very sad. It was very bittersweet. We did not want the week to end and we did not want to start like the process of like, oh my gosh, we're going home. Um, Walking to work every day was truly amazing. If I could do that here and it was as beautiful here as it is there, would totally do it. I'm gonna try and get outside and walk more. I realize that walking there is huge. Huge for your health, huge for your mental state, so many things. So now that I've basically broken that down, oh, I've missed stuff, but like this is becoming a long episode. I gotta fucking wrap it up and I have so many other things to tell you about Vienna. So Saturday we had a free day, we explored on our own. Started the morning off again, exploring early, and then took the afternoon to basically drink because that's what you do. We also drank actually while we were walking this time because you can walk around with alcohol there. So we got wine, we got beer, we walked around. You can buy like mini bottles, like the ones that you can get here are like $5. You could get a mini bottle of champagne or wine for €1, 1 or 2 euros. So that was super cool. Their markets are super interesting. They don't have processed food everywhere. You only get groceries for like a day or two. So people hit the market, everything's fresh. They have maybe one wall that's like packaged food or processed food. Everything else is fresh. Freaking amazing. Americans are doing so many things wrong. Let's see. What else happened on Saturday? I don't know. We saw a lot of things, walked around. Um, wow. I can't remember right now. I should have prepared more for that. But basically we did the touristy thing again on Saturday. Maybe if I look at my pictures really quick, I can remind you guys what we did. Oh, I hadn't packed yet either. So we kind of called it early on Saturday. Well, early early for Vienna. We wrapped it up by 11:30. Oh, I think we went to the wine fest. Oh, we went to the wine festival again on Saturday. There was way more wines, way cooler things. We saw like the whole like dancing stuff that like the Styrians do. Um, Walked around some more, saw some more shit. Yeah, that's okay. We went to the park, saw a lot of flowers. We met this cute couple from Ireland. Oh my God, we went back to Flanagan's. That was the third time we went there. We needed a lunch, we needed a beer. That was a thing. So we went there 3 times. It's a cool place. There's a cute little like Irish boy that works there. His name's Jamie, and he always says lovely. He'll be like, okay, lovely in his accent. And I just thought it was so cute. But we met this couple. They're from Ireland also, and they basically that was like their second time going there, and they're like, we'll probably be back too. It's just a vibe there. Flanagan's is the shit. It makes sense. And the guy was turning 80, and they were just so cute and talked to us forever. Um, oh, on Saturday, we also ended up going inside a church. It was super funny because we were a bit tipsy. I didn't think about the fact that I had just heard the church bells when we were walking up to it and why we heard the church bells, but church was starting and we walk in there and it's like about to start. And I was like, we have to sit down. And the freaking like pastor guy comes, he knows that we are like not normally there. And he comes while the first hymn is going and stands right next to us. And I'm tipsy at that point. And I'm like, I can't fucking handle this. So we left as soon as possible. But he was going to talk to us. He was going to pressure us. It was stressful. Then we went to another bar. I got another final Kaiserkraner. And yeah, another thing. Okay, now I can tell you all the other cool shit. So that was basically the week, the 9 days, all the things. Another thing that was really weird about there is in their bathrooms at bars, men and women's bathrooms have condoms, like vending machine condoms, like put the quarter in, twist it. I don't know if those are called vending machines, but like the machines. And on top of it, so on this bar on Saturday, in the women's bathroom, there was sex toys. There was, let me look, I have a picture. There was sex gags that you could buy for €2 and condoms and then sex toys. So we bought one. Well, I didn't. My coworker did because I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. And we did an unboxing and we could have probably put that on YouTube, but we didn't. It was really, really weird, but it's like, yeah, kind of sexual there. That's a thing. Okay, let me get to my actual notes now because that's all the basics. So everything is beautiful, like I said. The church we saw on, I think it's just crazy because it's an old place. Like, I guess I forget that life existed outside of like when my grandma was born. Like, and that was like 1938. Like, I just assume that life began around that time, and that makes me so naive and so stupid. But we saw a church on Saturday when we were exploring that was built in 740. So, like, it's just really crazy to think about like the world. I mean, it started over there and like it's just crazy. So that was a super creepy church. Things are super old. The Easter markets were so cute. I went to a champagne bar at the Easter market and their champagne was so good. So good. So good. You can get for $10, got a glass of nice ass champagne full to the brim. Everything's a vibe. Everyone's chill. Everything's just so different. Cheese, there's cheese everywhere at this festival, like Will's pounds of cheese. I wanted it so freaking bad. Okay. Other thing that they eat there a lot is veal, which I learned was baby cows, and I never tried the Wiener Schnitzel because it's made out of veal, and everyone's like, you can get it anywhere. Like, it's literally at any place that you go, but some places are better than others, and I didn't know. No one got it around me, and I didn't know if that was going to be like the place, and I also didn't want to try it because it's a baby cow, and that made me feel really shitty. Goose liver, beef tartare. Okay, I talked about those things. Sausage is everywhere. So a couple of things, perspectives, random things. One thing that really hit me about perspective there is how much of our life we spend living for other people or living for other people's idea of how we're supposed to be living or for their priorities. And being over there and being away from America really gave me that perspective of like, holy shit, like we're really living life every day with this perspective that we're supposed to be doing these things. And you don't have that there. Like you have it, but it's so different. It's so different. And it just made me think like how much I'm doing that to my kids, how much I'm doing that for myself. Like your perspective is just different there. You're not worried about everyone else. You're not worried about what they think about you. You're not worried about what they think about your career or your status. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. If you ever are feeling like you just need a break, I highly recommend traveling somewhere like Vienna because your brain will instantly be like, holy shit, everything makes sense. So, it just really put into perspective like how much of our regular life we're spending living for other people, doing things for other people, not taking time for ourselves. Like no one really does that there. Like everything you're doing is for your core people you care about and yourself. Like that's it. Another thing that was interesting too is like this is partly why I feel like I belong there too, is like they don't just tell you information. Like they're not just trying to tell you stuff about their life. Like they'll answer some questions, but people have their work life and their personal life. And it's okay that they're separate. It's okay that you're friends with these people at work, but they don't have to know everything about you, and they don't ask. Like, they're not asking prying questions all the time to just learn about you, to just have information about you. Like, they just don't, it doesn't matter. What matters is like what they care about in their own life or their direct people's life, and everyone outside of that does not matter. Most people don't even have social media there. Like, social media is just not as prevalent there. Status is not as prevalent there. Like, people just aren't invested in watching other people. And I noticed that while I was there, like when I did have downtime and I could get on social media, I'd start looking at stories of like influencers that I follow, and I was like, why the fuck am I watching this? Like, I don't even care about this. This is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. It was crazy. But when I'm here, my brain immediately switches where it's like, I wonder what probably Shannon Ford's doing, because I love watching her story. Like, it's so weird. So weird. Everything is clean. The food, alcohol, living areas, the streets, everything is clean. They take so much pride in their environment, and that was really eye-opening to me. Like, people will take the time to recycle. They will make sure that nothing's on the ground. They will make sure there's no cigarette butts, which is another thing. Smoking is everywhere there, but there's no cigarette butts. You will never see a cigarette butt on the ground. So wild. um they don't have this need to drink water the way that we do, or this need to hustle, like work out, lose weight, be super fit. I saw one gym in all of my exploring. When people are out running, it's like a jog. It's not like I have to be the fastest runner, I'm training for this thing, where you see people here running and training super hard and putting all these supplements in their bodies, and like, it just isn't like that there. And I think the way that they live and the food and things they're consuming are a huge factor. And it just really was eye-opening to me how often, like, even I'll be out running and I'm like, oh, that wasn't a good run because it wasn't this pace. These guys just go for a light jog, and that's acceptable and it's fine, and no one cares. That is unacceptable here in Utah, especially in Utah. Another thing that was eye-opening to me, oh, I also don't use straws anymore. I mean, I have a couple times, but like, I have no need to use a straw since I've been there. Like, I really realized you don't need a fucking straw. So weird. Another thing I realized is their, I don't know, like their energy and their calmness and the peace they have and like the happiness and the work-life balance and the I don't give a shit about everyone else. It really just made me think, like, why are we so stressed and anxious? Like, there, when you start feeling a little stressed, like, you can just stop, take a breather, take it in, think about it, make a plan. Might be wrong, might be right, and it's okay there. It's okay to make mistakes there. It's okay to, like, take a second and not immediately have an answer for something and fix something. It's just, like, okay to chill, accept that you're stressed, accept that you're anxious, accept that something's going wrong, accept that you don't have a plan, and just take action. And even if it's the wrong action, it's totally okay. So that was super interesting to me. Um, I also love that people don't go out looking like bums. Like, they're athleisure. The only time you see people in like athleisure is if they're actually working out. And that was super cool to me. It was also just really nice that people care to be presentable. Like, they're not over the top dressed. They're not like fashionistas. It's not like being in Paris or something like that. It's like truly just look presentable, look nice, like wear something clean, crisp, nice. And I love that. I think that things like that, on top of like how beautiful the architecture is, how beautiful the spaces are, that it's clean, really play into the happiness there. And the back to the, like, don't be stressed. Like, it's okay if you make a bad mistake or you don't know what you're doing or you're stressed. Like, relax, take a minute, take a beat, figure it out. I think that's part of why they have so much happiness. The drinking age is 16 there. That was super crazy to me. And I was like super stressed about that as I kept thinking about, like, wow, that could be like my niece, my son. Like, that's so weird. Like, they're not ready for this. And it made me start realizing that, like, I think alcohol and the desire to consume it so intensely here really comes down to you're not allowed to do it. If you do it underage, that's bad. If your parents let you drink underage, that's bad. If you let your kids try it, that's bad. And it gives this perception that, like, as soon as you can have it, you need it. You can't go to lunch as an adult and have wine, a glass of wine, and it be acceptable. Like things like that, I think are what really tie into the consumption we have for things. And when I realized that it was a 16 as like the drinking age, I started like paying more attention. And you don't see 16-year-olds at the bar. You don't see them at the pub. You don't see them doing these things. They'd probably go out at night for sure. I would. The clubs look fucking banging. And I don't know, like I think that because it's acceptable and it's okay, they're not consuming it the way that I would notice a teenager doing it here. Like I'm sure they drink with their parents. I'm sure at dinner at home they'll have a glass of wine, or like you would see them out and about walking the streets, but they weren't in the places where like you're really consuming it. So like it made total sense to me. Like it's not like they're at the bar. How they even have money unless they have a job? Like it makes sense why we have the addiction issues we have here and why we have this like get fucked up. We're stressed all the time. We're not supposed to do it, so we do it. Like it all makes sense. Smoking, I already said, was everywhere. You get used to that pretty quickly, but it's not like in a trashy way where it's like you're just walking in smoke. It's like they take a minute, they have a smoke. There's not cigarette butts. You know where they're smoking, and you'll smell it for a second, and it's gone. So that was a bit weird at first, though. Their mindsets, like I've said, are completely different. The healthier lifestyle is completely different. Like, no gyms, no bullshit in their food. No, like, I'm not joking. I saw 2 overweight people. 2. In the entire 9 days that I was there, 2 people. I don't even know if they were locals. I lost 6 pounds while I was there. I've been trying to lose weight for years. Not joking, years. I can't drop a pound. If I drop a pound, it's back plus some in a day. Like, something we are consuming here, the way that we are consuming things here is totally affecting that. I lost 6 fucking pounds. 6 pounds. And I ate and I drank like crazy. So that just tells you that something is different. I have a lot more awareness and openness, I think, now that I've been there. I already felt like I had a lot of that, but I think that they really gave me that perspective even more of like the awareness they have. They're super open. They're actually super fucking kind people, even though they're not social the way that you would expect them to be, which is again why I love it, because like I'm the same way where I'm always like, people think I'm a bitch, but I'm actually really kind and I really care about people. I'm just not feeling like I need to talk all the time. I don't feel like I have to just pry into their lives. I don't feel like I have to pry for information or just talk because you're supposed to talk. Like it doesn't make me an asshole, but here in America, it does. I also had 0 allergies the entire time I was there. I've been so messed up since I got back, to the point where my eyes are watering and swelling, and that's never happened. My foot that's always bothering me and has like tons of problems. I walked miles. I had like one day I had like 20,000 steps, not a single foot pain. I wore heels every day to work, not a single foot pain. And I cannot for the life of me figure out what about that life or the environment or the elevation or anything made that happen, but it just didn't. My foot never once hurt. It was insane. Allergies didn't happen. Like, I don't know. I didn't have any swelling in my hands. I also get really swollen when I'm walking around here. I'm swollen right now. Swollen when I drink. Never happened there. Like my fingers would swell a little from drinking, but not the way that it swells here. It's just wild. The last thing I have of my own personal notes is what I learned from my coworker is, so like you can't just go to like the pharmacy like you would here and just get like prescriptions or whatever you need. You can't get Tylenol, all of these things. You have to go to this little tiny pharmacy that's around the corner, and it has like super basic hours the way that everything else does. And if you needed like a headache, you have to get Tylenol and stuff from a doctor. And if you're not feeling good, you'll go to the doctor and he'd be like, hey, take a minute, like maybe you need this. And they'll prescribe like go on a walk, go to a park, go without your phone for these hours, take these 2 days to relax, like drink water. All of their stuff is like get out in nature, walk, do whatever to clear your head, get fresh air. They don't prescribe you medicine the way that they do here. They're not like, here's some ibuprofen, here's this, here's that. Antibiotics, you can only get those every so often. They like track how often you've had them to make sure that your body's still able to fight off stuff, which I think is super freaking amazing. Um, Also, the government pays for your sick leave. So, like, if you're sick and you're prescribed to not work, your work is not out that money. So, they're irritated with you because the doctor said this. The government reimburses your company for your sick days. Your health insurance is paid for, your child care is paid for. Um, it's $1 a day. So, 365 euros per person for the entire year for them to take the train, the subway, and the bus as often as you want. Like, they're really into like making sure you're walking, bicycling to work, taking the train, not having cars, just weird things like that. And like the way that the doctors really treat stuff really makes a lot of sense to me because I think that's a huge thing in America where it's like, here, let's shove whatever we can down your throats. And yeah, those are my own personal insights. I have a million more things to say, but I have a couple last things that I'm going to tell you about Vienna because I've rambled and I probably lost you and I'm very fucking sorry. So 10 facts about Vienna, which by the way, it's just fucking beautiful. If you can go there, please go there. I'm going to move there. The vineyard I was going to have in my future is going to be in Vienna. Vienna invented the snow globe. It has the oldest Ferris wheel in the world. Um, it invented the croissant. So I thought that was interesting. The croissants are so fucking good. I miss them so much. Miss the coffee too. It's known as the City of Dreams. It is the wine capital. It has 1,700 acres of vineyards and 320 vintners, and there's wine everywhere. Everywhere. It's amazing. They have over 450 annual balls, which I think is so cute. Kids learn like dance. They have to go to like dance classes and learn how to like really dance. Oh, another thing I forgot. All the fucking men are so polite. They won't even walk out of the room unless the woman goes first. They'll take your coat. They'll see that you're putting a coat on. A random stranger will just help you put on your coat. It's insane how fucking polite these men are, and also that they all get dancing lessons. I thought that was super cute. Let's see. Vienna's chocolate cake is world famous. I didn't actually have any. I didn't also have their famous apple strudel, which is like the way to say it, the way they say it's like apple so. I can't do it, but didn't actually have any of the sweets necessarily, so I'm really bummed about that. But like I don't really crave sweets the way that people do. And we kept saying we were going to do it, but like once you start drinking, you're also not craving sweets. So I feel like next time I have a couple things I still need to try. I also would say that like I didn't consume, oh, I didn't put salt on anything. And I put salt on everything. And I also didn't crave sugar the way I would crave it here. So like there's stuff in the things that we're eating, consuming, all of it. I have to say it a million times. We're doing fucking shit wrong here. It's crazy. They have the oldest zoo. They have a national Wiener Schnitzel Day. They have the biggest museum quarter, and it's just freaking amazing. And when I tell people I'm gonna move there, I think they think I'm joking. When I tell them that America's kind of shit, I think they think I'm joking, or people are getting really offended by that, and I'm really sorry. But America is doing a lot of shit wrong. And I get that it's like a really great place, but it's also gotten really terrible. So I'm really sorry that you don't believe me when I say just travel. Go travel somewhere like this. Not everywhere in the world's amazing, but I'm telling you, Vienna is fucking amazing. Okay, the last things I'm going to say about Austrians is they really care about being on time. If you are not on time, that's an issue. You should probably always be 5 minutes early. They all speak English, but they all speak very like they have a different version of German, but everyone speaks English. They might pretend that they don't speak English. It just takes them a minute. Your waiters and waitresses are meant to be a little bit rude. Apparently that's like a thing, but eventually they'll start speaking English too. You have to get used to smoking. I already mentioned that. They have nude beaches. Everyone goes topless when you're sunbathing there, which I think is very uncomfortable. Back to the whole like, I think they're very sexual there. I don't really know yet. They eat a lot of dairy, cheese, milk, butter, creamy things, chocolate, sauces. It's a thing. I had a lot of fries. Again, ate a lot of fries and shit that I shouldn't be eating and still lost weight. But you don't feel gross after eating a meal there. Everything that you eat, you never once get that heavy, gross feeling that you get here. They are very neat and tidy. Like I've mentioned a million times, like the whole country, I would say, is probably OCD as fuck. Like they really care about cleanliness. They really care about taking care of things. They really want to make sure everything is good. And the whole office is clean all the time. It was amazing. They holiday all the time. They get 5 weeks of annual leave every year. They have a lot of public holidays. You get 13 and 14 salary instead of like your 12 months of salary. You get 13 and 14. And that means you get a bonus in the summer holiday and a bonus in the winter holiday. So you can just really enjoy your holiday vacations. And I'm just shocked by that. They're really into holidays and yeah, having work-life balance. They're very polite, like I mentioned. Like, God, so polite. It's so nice. Like I said, you think that they're assholes because people think I'm an asshole, but we're actually pretty kind and they are way kinder than I am. Um, oh yeah, they had like these cute little like uh at the wine festival, like everyone had like their lederhosen or like the I can't remember what the dress thing is, but like it's like a total thing. Everyone owns one. Goes back to like the whole dancing lessons thing. It's adorable. I love it. I love that they have like this culture and this like ingrained heritage. Everyone here has like this culture of like Americans are the best. And that's it. It's not like let's invite other cultures into our life or be part of your culture. It's wild. You also should always ask where people are from within a few minutes of talking to them. It's the polite thing to do. You want to find out where they're from. You want to hear like about who they actually are. They would prefer you ask them where you're from than like where do you live or just some other random question that you'd ask someone. Um, they love being outside. They love walking. If you want to take a car, people are like kind of like you don't want to just walk. You can also walk everywhere super fast. They love their sports. Coffee is totally a thing. Everyone wants coffee. Everyone apparently really loves this chocolate cake too. Um, love dancing. They love music. They don't actually like when people think that they're just assholes. They think it's kind of rude to just be like, you guys act this way. So probably don't ever say that to them, but I don't know, it's weird. Churches and Catholicism is everywhere. You have to classify what type of water you want, tap water, still water, or sparkling. Still water is not going to be tap water. Still water is going to come in like a bottle and it's not good. It's disgusting. Don't do it. I highly encourage you to not do that. Um, they're known for like having a ton of musicians and like famous artists there. It's crazy. I really need to look into it, but like Mozart, they have like a whole Mozart museum. Their chocolates come with Mozart on it. Like it's crazy. Explicit is like swearing is totally acceptable. Explicit language, like it's not frowned upon. Again, need to live there. Sunday fun day is definitely meant for like going out and getting brunch, having some drinks, going to a park, taking your wine, and just like relaxing and like totally enjoying your Sunday. Boys go to the bathroom sitting down for the most part. I think they've gotten a little bit away from that, but a lot of men grew up where they have to sit down. I didn't talk to a lot of people about that because I think that's fucking weird. I don't think it's normal to just be like, hey, do you sit down or pee or sit down when you pee? But that's like a thing that I heard there. The fashion, like I said, it's classic. It's just like timeless. Like it's kind of like when I buy stuff, it's always kind of plain. It's like plain essentials, and that's how it is when it's put together. They don't wear like a lot of colorful things or too fancy things or risky high-end fashion things. Like, oh, high-end fashion is more of like you should for sure have like name brand fucking bags and shoes for sure at some point. It's everyone has it. It makes me feel like I need to really step up my game there for sure. But like other than that, everything is just like timeless and classic. And there were people that wore color, but they also weren't originally like from there and were pretty new there or they were visiting. So like people wearing pops of color It's gotten better. Jeans are still acceptable. Everyone on the internet said don't wear jeans. People wear jeans. Don't wear athleisure though. That's for sure. And the last thing I would say is beer is a huge thing there. You have to learn to like beer. Their original beer is not my favorite. It was okay, but yeah, I think that's it. I'm so sorry for talking you guys' ear off. That was a super long episode. Part of the problem is that I don't know, I couldn't keep up with myself. I went off on tangents and I'm very sorry, but that was Vienna. It was nothing short of completely life-changing. I cannot wait to go back. I hope I get to move there in the next couple of years, and I hope that my vineyard that I plan to own in the future is there. So yeah, if you have questions, you want to see pictures, you want me to talk about something, let me know. But that is our episode. And yeah, I don't really know how to sign off because Taylor does it, but I guess I'll talk to you guys next time we record together. Love you. Bye.